All right, hello everyone. We are on Mars today, so I decided to, show off Mars a little bit because it'd be cool if one day we are there in the future. Today is going to be a little bit different than the other live streams, in that I have a special guest that's joining us. The person that I'm actually betting against on this live stream has joined us, and he's gonna come on in just a minute. For anyone that's new to this live stream thing, or just seeing this now and like watching it for the first time maybe, I'm doing a 60-hour streaming bet in August. So I have to stream 60 hours of myself coding, learning how to code and do all that stuff. What I would recommend, because some of these videos are gonna be long, they're gonna be 2, 3, 4 hours long, maybe more, is to skip all the way to the end and see what I end up making. Because everything in between over the next few hours will be like, me figuring out or me like, creating some stuff. So I've already done 6 live streams. This is going to be the 7th. So feel free to go back to the other ones and, see if you could learn anything from it, or, take out anything from my struggles and my, and the things I've created. I would highly recommend go skip to the end, see what gets made if you're watching this after the fact, and then go back to the beginning if you want to like see like, or skip through and see like what I actually did or where I got stuck or how I figured things out. All right, so without further ado, I am going to start sharing. I'm going to bring in my friend. I think I have him on right now, and let's see if this works. I'm not like an expert at OBS and like switching scenes and stuff, so let's just see if that works. I think, Dave, you should be on. So people should be able to see me and you on the screen, yes. Oh, actually you're muted. Hold on, let me unmute you. All right, say something.
Something.
Okay, great. I think people should be able to hear you and hear me and see me at the same time. So I'm going to introduce you just, because you are someone that I actually look up to when it comes to computer science and coding and stuff. Dave is a friend of mine from college, and he's really good at figuring stuff out and Frankensteining code together, making it work, and working on some really cool projects. So Dave is going to be the person I'm going to ask a whole bunch of questions about like what I'm doing and see what advice he provides me. So he's going to be able to see my screen in just a minute, and we're going to go over like what I've made so far and his advice for going forward. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to switch over to you're going to not see Dave anymore, but he's still there. He could hear me. He's going to be able to see my screen in just a minute. Dave, let me know when you can see my screen, and I'll start going over. Okay, great. So I don't know if you've been following along till the end on the other live streams, but if you haven't, or if you have, whatever, I'm just going to explain kind of what I'm trying to do here. So part of my job is like going to schools and, this isn't like a thing that we do like crazy, like taking notes on teachers or whatever while they're teaching.
Timer.
Oh yes, let me fire up the timer. Thank you for thanks for remembering. So we are at 17 hours, 17 minutes, and 10 seconds. So I'm going to fire it up. Good looks. Thank you for remembering. There it goes. Okay. So anyways, I'm trying to build like a note-taking app, basically. And the thing about my job is that there are thousands of teachers. There's hundreds of schools. Actually, there's thousands of schools. It's over 1,000 schools. And I'm trying to build something that will allow me to like find any teacher, any school in the system. So I'm gonna have to like bring all those in. And once I find what I'm looking for, so I made this screen last live stream to be able to filter to find the specific school that I'm looking for. And once I do find like, a bunch of schools, once I filter out like the schools that might be the potential target, I'll be able to select it here, and then I'm going to see like a detail view, like a master detail view on the right side. And then my goal is to select the teachers. So once I select the school, find the school I'm looking for, select the teacher, it opens up this teacher detail view that has like a bunch of important information that I might need or like would need to find really quickly. You're still there, Dave, right? You're following?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I would have this teacher view. I would be able to see all of the previous notes that anyone, like me or anyone on my team, has seen. So we could just click on a note, open it up like that. I have to create like a component for taking notes. And I could also see which trainings of ours the teachers have attended. So I could see like what they've learned and how many hours they've been doing that stuff for. So, I mean, this might be too many features or too many things for like the MVP, for like the version 1. But it's kind of like what I was using Bootstrap, playing around with Bootstrap and Angular. That's kind of what I created. This doesn't work right now. Let me show you the code, actually. Let me switch over to the code. Okay. Let me actually describe the structure of this thing that I created. So I have a header component. I've been kind of confused on how many components I should have and how like really how many components I should have.
That's good. I think I usually have in the app component, there's the header, footer, and then the body.
Okay, so
and the body is where I put the router.
Okay, let me.
So it looks like I have to see your app component, how it's laid out.
All right, yeah, I'll get to it. So my app component, like the main, I have the router in the app component.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, in the app component also, I have the header up top.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
You have a header, but then you have a header items below the header. Why aren't those items in the header component?
Where are you looking?
Search schools, teacher details.
Okay, so the header is just the nav bar. I didn't actually put that functionality in the header. I should
go back to the app.
Yeah, let me show you the app.
You have 2 nav bars.
I just have one nav bar. So I don't think I did a good job of creating enough components or the right components for all the different things that you see on screen.
Well, you almost did it right. Because I would have put those search schools teacher detail buttons in the header component.
Really?
Since those are going to be there no matter what page you're on, right?
That's true. So okay, so I should bring those 3 things into
or even put them inside that dark header bar. Put them on the upper right inside. That's kind of like the modern design, right? You have like the links on the right on the bar.
Oh, really? On the nav bar?
Yeah, right. You don't put links below the bar.
Well, actually, I had the links in the nav bar. Like the way Max has them in the recipe ingredient app. But then I thought, I think it'll look better. I thought it would look better if I had like tabs. So if I just had a tab view like this. So it's almost like a notebook.
In that case, you might actually want to do a vertical tab list.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah. That's true.
The way it looks now is you have two headers essentially, so it's kind of a weird design. So in this kind of design, if you have a lot of links like that, let's say you have 10 links, then it's better to have a vertical nav bar.
But because they're going to be on all of the screens, do you think it would be a good idea to have that in the header component also, to bring them in there?
Yeah, no. If you're going to do a vertical,
have its own make another component.
Yeah, you're gonna have a sidebar component, and then on the right of the sidebar, you'll have the actual router outlet.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I could do.
That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's not. It's not a big deal to, I guess, fix that or change that. I mean, I realize that this code is probably not great. It's not structured in a good way. I have to refactor all of it to make it logical and right, or better at least. So. Okay, let me think of the next question that I have. Okay, so actually let me finish describing what I have so far. So I have the header, I have the master detail component that contains the school list and the teacher list. So I know this is kind of hard to, looking at the folder, you see this, okay. Looking at a folder structure is kind of tough. But so I put all of that in the master detail component as subcomponents of that thing. And yeah, the master detail basically shows the school list, the school detail. The first one is the first component, the first page, the first tab is the search and filter component. So I have that in here. Let me just show you what that looks like. I don't know if. All right, hopefully that's not too small. Let me know if it's too small that you can't see it. But basically this is that first tab that has like the filter by and the search bar and all that stuff. And I would like, it's not wired together or anything like that, but that I created its own component for that. And then I have the teacher details is a separate component. So that would be like the last page that shows everything about the teacher.
Okay.
So I guess, and like as I'm looking at this, like it feels like I should have more components. Like I should like go even into more detail. Like let me pull up the app just to show you again. Like in the teacher detail, it feels like, I mean, I don't know if people go like component crazy with Angular, but it feels like this should be its own component. The notes should be its own component. The training should be its own component. Is that the right way of thinking about it?
Where's the training?
At the bottom. Yeah, it's just a table. But
I don't know. It's very touch and go. I'm always on the fence about these things. Like this page, I'm looking at it now. You have kind of like two sets of data. You have like a accordion, then you have a table.
Yeah.
So like, if the data is simple, I would just do this all in one page component. But if it's like complicated stuff that you're doing in each of these accordions or each of these tables, then I'll break it down.
Okay.
If it's simple, I keep it together. If it's not simple, if like it is like some extra buttons in the accordion there and some extra functionality in there, then probably break it down.
All right. I think I will probably have to break it down just because there's going to be like an add a note. Probably
Yeah,
maybe
you
I'll
can
have
always
it.
break it down later. It's like you don't have to do it. Usually when you develop an app like this, you start it off all together and then you slowly break it down over time.
Yeah. So as I'm like refactoring, I could compartmentalize some of these things, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next, I guess I have two more big things that I have questions about. One is if I was to store the data. Let me show you the service that I have right now. And I'm guessing that I would create a database, maybe like with MongoDB and a REST API that could get data. I don't really know how to structure the database though. If I'm gonna, let me show you the service just so you could see like how this is stored right now. Because I think I have two separate things. I have like a service that has the. All right, hold on. Let me find it.
Do you have a backend already?
No, I don't. I just created a service and just hard coded the data inside of the service. But I need to find it. Master detail.
Keep your services in a separate folder.
I actually have the services right now inside the subcomponents.
But services shouldn't be coupled with a component.
So they should be. I should have like a separate a top
I do a
level
service-
folder.
I do a services folder. So like under, well, usually what I would do is under source and app, I would have another folder called pages. Put all the pages in there, and then have another folder called services. Put all the services in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's the right way.
So the way that I started. The way that I started saving the data was that I created every school would have its name, its address, its principal, and then a list of teachers. And then the idea was that I would create a separate database with just all of the teachers in, let's say, the entire school district or in the entire system. Because let's just say there's 100,000 teachers. I don't think it would make sense to just have one database, like every single school has like 50 teachers inside of it or something. And then it just seems like it would be huge. Like I'd want to break that down too.
Yeah, you could have one database.
I could have everything in one database and it would still perform okay.
100,000 isn't a lot. I've worked with databases with 500,000 users.
And it's not like that slow. So like when I like hit the API, it wouldn't take forever to find things in the database.
So what you do is you add a index. Like if you use MongoDB Atlas, like mongodb.com, you make an account, you make your database. After like a day of using it, it'll tell you what indexes to make. You just click a button, create an index, and it kind of figures it out for you, kind of your common queries. And it'll say, hey, you query your teachers list of 100,000 teachers every day, and you create an index of like the teachers' names.
Uh-huh.
and then it'll create the index. As long as it's not like a massive index, usually they're pretty small, it'll make it kind of instantaneous. Like it's basically in-memory search as opposed to like a full-on database search. So so basically, yeah, you can have a lot of documents in a collection in MongoDB.
Okay, so you're saying just like every school has everything it needs inside of it, like all the data that it needs, just one database with everything inside of it.
Well, I wouldn't have one collection. So I would have a school collection, a teacher's collection. I would have
Okay.
it broken out. I wouldn't put too many things in arrays. You can use arrays sparingly, but like if it's like you're not going to make a a school collection with each school has an array of teachers. I don't think that makes sense. I think you would want to avoid arrays. So you would have a school collection, you would have a teacher collection, and each teacher would have a school ID field.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I would associate.
Okay.
So what do you have here? You have a school. Yeah, so here's not how I would do it. I mean, for now it's fine, but eventually you're going to break this down to schools, and then teachers would be a separate collection as opposed to just one collection.
Okay. I'm gonna have to like visual maybe this weekend, because this weekend we could like maybe we could draw it out or something, or because I have to like visualize it. I have a hard time like understanding like the structure without seeing it like myself. But okay, so but I got some things out of what you said, like to not have arrays.
You could use arrays sometimes, but don't go crazy with it.
Yeah, I mean,
Make a big thing.
yeah, and it probably. Well, we'll see. We'll get to that. Okay, with indexing, is that not possible if you're using like like a local version of MongoDB, or do you have to use the online Atlas MongoDB
No, you
thing?
can add indexes.
You could do index.
Mongoose and stuff. Or you didn't make the service yet?
I'm gonna use. Yeah, I didn't make that yet. Like, I'm actually probably gonna do that after you get off. I'm gonna work on the database, saving like storing these things in a database, and like getting stuck on that and figuring that stuff out, and creating like a REST API that will allow me to hit that database to read.
Have
And
you used Mongoose?
I'm gonna use Mongoose. Yes.
Yeah, so if you use Mongoose, when you define the schema for the school, you define the schema for the teacher. Right after you define the schema, there's like another line you call. You'll see it in the Mongoose.
Okay. Well, the way I was thinking about, I wasn't sure. So like the way it could be they could be searched by school. Like someone might search by the school, the name of the school, the code for the school, the principal, or the teacher name. Okay. Yes, yes. What do you think like? I know you said you worked with like 500,000 items or whatever in a database and stuff, but what do you think the performance would be like if I have, let's say, 1,800 schools, 1,800 principals, and like I don't know, 150,000 teachers, and I'm doing a search here that I wanna like get stuff back within like I don't know 200 milliseconds. Like how crazy do you think that is? That's not hard at all. Okay, that's not so bad. Hmm. Okay, yeah. I'm not worried about optimization yet. I'm more interested in just like getting this thing to like kind of work. uh, and then okay, so I think the next thing I'm gonna do is like create the schema for the schools, the teachers, the whatever. Um, create like the REST API so that it can like start saving things to the database and retrieving things from the database, and then figuring out how to connect it to Angular, and maybe create a page so I could create more teachers or create schools, so I could do testing like that. Does that sound like a good next step, or do you think? And then creating a service that hits that REST API. Is that the way I should be thinking about it? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll probably do that in Visual VS Code. I'm gonna start. I'll probably make a separate project for the the backend for this today. So that's probably gonna be my goal for tonight, to get that working, create the schema, think about like all the fields that I'm gonna need and all that stuff, and get that working. That's my goal for today. So I think, and then I'll figure out like what I need to modify in the front end to be able to work with that backend. I appreciate your help and your enthusiasm, Dave. And just so you know, I'm like way behind pace. I should be at like 26 hours. I'm at 17. So we might have to do an all-nighter tonight. No, yeah, you don't have to stay on. This is gonna be. I'm like really slow at doing this because I'm like thinking out loud and getting stuck and figuring stuff out. It's been fun though. It's been a lot of fun to kind of like get this thing kind of looking like okay, like something I could use. But yeah, no, you don't have to stay on. I'll keep working on this, and then like maybe we'll get some feedback or comments from people like that hear from you, or maybe they have questions and post it in the comments or in the chat, and I'll hit you up. All right, bye, Dave. Thank you so much for coming on. All right, so that was my buddy from college. His name's Dave. He's the one that's betting against me hitting 60 hours. And his side of the bet is that he has to do a bunch of workouts. So now that he's gone, I could take off my headset because I just didn't want any like echoing or reverb on that. Let's see if that screws up the sound though. All right, I don't think so. I think I'm still good. I think people can still hear me. Let me just remove the. Actually, this is fine. We'll just work with this. I do want to close out Zoom. I have Zoom going on here with him. That's how I was doing this call. Let me just get that. Let me just end that. Okay. Just because my computer's resources are, they're being taxed right now. In other news, or in exciting news, I have my new computer coming in next Wednesday. It's currently in Shanghai, China. Bouncing around the Chinese roads over there. They're probably trying to get it to the port to be shipped over here to the U.S. So that should be arriving on Wednesday, and that should give me about a week and a half, about a week and a half or a couple weeks, almost 2 weeks, with using a better computer, hopefully one that's quieter so you don't have to hear the fans, you don't have to hear the AC. Actually, I'll probably still have the AC on, but whatever. Okay, so our goal for today is to create some sort of backend, or at least a primitive backend for this project. So I'm going to use MongoDB as the database. I'm going to use Mongoose, which will allow me to not have to like write everything for MongoDB from scratch. Mongoose is like a layer on top of it, library, I guess, that was built that will allow me to use MongoDB without having to like write every single step, everything from scratch. So you'll get to see that if you're watching this or if you're learning. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. I could see them. I could see them on the right side. I'll be paying attention to that. Let's continue from there. Okay, so let's close out. I'm gonna close out this project. Actually, let me just bring it down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna close out this project and create a new one for the back end. And I haven't done this in a while, so it's going to take me a few seconds to figure out like how to do this again. So let's open up a new project. Let's not a new file. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to create a folder. Call this backend, and I'm going to drag that into Visual Studio Code. All right, so now I should be able to start creating like JavaScript files and saving them into this folder. So let us create a new file, and I'm just going to name this server.js. Server.js. Let's see, what should I get working first? Let's get the server working. The REST API, kind of like we're going to get Node and Express working, and then we're going to hook it into MongoDB. And so Dave says in the chat, 6 down, by the way. So he's done 6 workouts. He has to do 10 because his side of the bet is that he has to do 10 of these like crazy hour-and-a-half long workouts that apparently are so intense that you have to take like 2 or 3 days off after you do one. I think you got the good end of the deal here, Dave. But that's okay, because I wanted to do this anyway. Okay, so let us go back to the terminal. I'm going to need to install some things. So I'm going to open up a new... Actually, I don't want to open up a new terminal window. Let's just open up a new tab. And so in this tab, we're going to run some npm commands. We're going to install some stuff. Let's go over to the browser. So we are going to install Express Npm. Let's go to Express. Actually, let me go to expressjs.com, because that's going to have like the step-by-step of what I need to include to create this backend. So once again, Express is like another layer on top of Node that will allow me to create a server without actually having to like do a lot of work, like step-by-step work to get the thing working. This is going to be it's going to be a lot easier to use Express and like the stuff that's built into Express that people have already created. I'll just have to look at the API reference a bunch of times. So you'll see, it's a fast, unopinionated, minimalist web framework for Node.js. This allows me to create a server using JavaScript, which is awesome. And to install it, I'm going to type in npm install express. And I'm going to go to this Getting Started tab, and I'm going to read through this so you could see let me first install it, and then let me close this. Let me install it here in not in my app. I need to be in backend, cd backend. Okay, so the backend right now, it's empty. Actually, it's not empty. It has the server.js, but I'm going to install Express. So npm install Express. And that's going to go to the Node Package Manager software or website and download the library that I just download the Node modules that it needs, all that stuff. Okay, so that is done. Let me go over to the API or the Getting Started guide. Okay, this command. Well, I'm not going to use index.js. I'm going to use server.js. I already created it. That's not going to be a problem, though. It's not a big deal. Hello world. Next, hello world. So this is the simplest Express app you can create. It's a single file app. This is just a simple server. So let me, I'm going to copy paste this code into Visual Studio Code. And so let me actually kind of like break it down here step by step what's actually happening. So we're bringing in Express and putting it in, instantiating it in a variable here, or a constant. And so we don't need to, because Express isn't going to change, so we can make it a constant. App actually is the one that, or the app is the one that actually like runs an instance of Express. So creates, like gets this thing up and running. And we have the port number here. App.get is going to be the way that, or it's waiting for a request, and it's going to send back hello world in the response. So that's how this is going to work. App.listen is going to keep the port open on the server, listening for any requests that are coming in. And so when I start this app, you'll see that it's gonna tell me that the example app is listening at this port, at localhost port 3000. It's gonna be. So if I was actually going into production, like using Heroku or something, I would have to change the port to whatever they want it to be. So if I save this and I run it, let me run it in the terminal in here. So in the back end, we're going to do node server.js. And so you'll see that the example app is listening, and I can't type anything else in because the server is actually running, and it's listening for requests. So for me to send one, I'm going to go over to the browser. I'm going to type in localhost, and this is on port 3000. And we see that it says hello world. So it received the request, and it sent back a response. I could inspect in network. I should be able to see what happened. So this was the response that we got. We got back hello world from the server, which is running right now in that terminal that I have inside of VS Code. Okay, so all right, that's fine. All right, that's all we got back. Now, obviously, this is not what we want to get back. We're gonna be using this for our REST API because, as you can see, it has all the commands. Well, it has the get command that you've seen so far here, but I'm gonna have to be able to add a get, a put, maybe an update, post, I should say, not a put. Get, post, update, delete. So we could have our CRUD, create, read, update, delete features or functionality for our server here. So we're gonna be doing that. So we're gonna have let me actually kind of like pseudocode this out, write it out. As Dave said, he likes to write out like all the things he's going to need and the features and the schema for the database. I'm going to kind of write down here what I need to bring into this server.js before I hit the database, before I do all the database stuff. Okay, so we are going to have a create, read, update, and delete. So that's why it's called CRUD. So we have to be able to create things in the database. So we're going to need a path for that, or an API endpoint for that. We're going to have to be able to read from the database. So we're going to need an API endpoint to be able to read, send a request and receive a response that read from the database. We have to be able to update the database eventually. So this is going to come much later. Well, maybe not much later, but later. Probably not today. I'm probably going to worry about creating and reading today. And deleting, I could probably implement delete pretty easily. Update's going to be a little bit different or difficult because I don't have it hooked up to the front end. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. So let's try to get at least create and read working today. Okay, so if we go back to the browser, we're going to look at what we need to do to get this actually working. Let's look at let's see what it says for basic routing. Okay. Routing refers to determining how an application responds to a client request to a particular endpoint. So the API endpoint I mentioned. And a specific HTTP request method. So to read from the database, we are going to, read is going to be a GET request. Create is going to be probably a POST request. Update, I think there is an update request. And delete is a delete request. So I'm going to have to see if those are actually the method names for these this thing I'm trying to implement here, but we'll see. Okay. following examples illustrate defining simple routes. Okay, so this is just a simple route. This is just the main page. Post, put. So I'm gonna have to see when I should use post or put. So that's gonna be a question that I'm gonna write that down. Post or put. I think it's post though, but maybe. Well, we'll see. We'll find some examples. We'll get this thing working. And delete. Delete is its own request, and we just have to point it to the right route, and it'll delete whatever it needs to delete. We're not going to be serving static files, not with this at least. We're not going to be serving static files. More examples. Let's see. Authentication. I'm not going to worry about that today. Okay, don't have to worry about that. Let's see in the guide what they recommend or what's going on here. It almost looks like what I was just looking at. So there's a few things that are going to be going on here. So like when the front end makes a request to the back end, so a GET request, I want to be able to, from there, I'm going to have to hit the database and then respond. When I get a response back from the database, I'm going to send back that as a response to the client that requested it. So I have to figure that out. I have to figure out how to get that working. Okay, so we'll get that. We're gonna need some. We might need some. So we could actually we'll probably do a response.json. We'll send back the data in a JSON format. Yes, I think we'll do that. Actually, maybe I should get that working first. So we'll probably work on trying to get that working first, sending back JSON data. Because I'm going to be storing the data in the database as JSON. So we'll see that. Let's see what else. So I don't know about the router option. Like I don't know how this router thing works. So for now, I'm going to forget it or ignore it. I'm just going to start get something working. Maybe let's see if there's a, yeah, that's advanced stuff. I don't need to worry about that stuff yet. For now, let's get like a JSON response being sent back because my data is going to be in JSON anyway. So let me go over here. What is it just as easy as doing response.json and then putting in an object like name, Timmy, age, I don't know, 100. So is it that simple to send back a response like that? So this is on the slash. So this is going to be the. Actually, I shouldn't do it on that. I should do get. Let's call it schools. So someone is going to go to localhost 3000 /schools. Oh, this is like frozen. Did I break it? No. Slash. Oh, I might have to reset the server actually, now that I think about it. And because I'm going to have to do that over and over again, I actually want to have that done automatically. So let me stop this. I'm going to use something, a node package called Nodemon. So let me do npm install Nodemon. And you'll see why that is. So what that's going to do, what Nodemon's going to do is it's every time I save this file, it's going to restart it. Instead of me having to, Control C, stop the project or stop this file from running, and then restart it. This will automatically do it. So instead of typing in node server, I'm going to type in Nodemon. Now that it's installed, server.js. And I don't need the JS because that'll just run. Okay, so you'll see that it says that it's watching the path, watching the extensions, and my things going. If I was to change something here, so let's say I had another key value pair over here, age. So name, age. What else could I add? Name, age. I don't know, height. And let's just say 6. So that's just in feet. You see that when I hit save, it like restarted the server. Okay, so now let me see if I can hit schools and receive a JSON response and see if that works. So schools, and we do get some JSON. So we do get a response, and this is good. This is making progress here, because this is what I'm gonna have to my front end's gonna have to receive the JSON and then format it a specific way. Okay, so let us continue from there. You know what I just noticed? That right now you cannot see the timer. And I think, you know what I could do to make it so that people could see the count up timer? I could maybe give it a black border. So regardless of whether it's white or black, or maybe a white border with black text. So regardless of the underlying or the background behind it, it will always show. So let me see if I could actually change the properties to give it a border somehow. Outline maybe? Does that work? Was it that simple? Okay, so let's see if that works. Let me go over to the white screen. Oh, it's very hard to read. So maybe I should do the outline. I'll worry about that next time, but actually maybe not. Let's get it working. That border looks way too thin. Why don't we make it, how do we make the border thicker? Or what if we do black text with a white border? Can I choose the border like that? Is color 2 the border color? No, that's just like a gradient that it creates on this thing. So let me just go back to, what was it, white? All right, we'll worry about that another time. Let's go back to our code here. Okay, so I am able to send a JSON response here. So that's good. Okay, and this is going to be the read. This is the GET request. So let me paste that. This is going to be the endpoint for getting stuff. Eventually, I'm going to have to probably have one for like the slash for like the main page, but I'm not going to worry about that now. Okay, what's next? What would I need to do next? Oops, did I delete schools? There we go. Okay, so I want to, maybe I should bring in the database. I should hit the database, and I'll store something very simple. Like I'll do this, this Timmy object over here, and see if we can get the database working, and then we'll figure out how to add things, create things in the database. Let me think. Okay, let us, you know what I should also use? I should also use another program. Instead of using the browser, we could use something called Postman, which will allow me to like practice or do a bunch of things without needing the actual server up and running. All right, so let's try to get Mongo working, so the database working. And I'm really rusty because I haven't done this in a really long time, so you're gonna have to bear with me. But you don't have a choice, so that's okay. Let us go to npm mongoose. Let's see how we do that with mongoose. Okay. Mongoose.js. I think if I install Mongoose, it automatically brings in mongoDB. We'll see. Let's go back to the website here. I guess let's try installing it, and then we'll see if it brings in mongoDB. Otherwise, we might have to install it ourselves. We go to the terminal. Npm install mongoose. And we might be able to look in the folder structure and see if mongoDB was installed, or maybe it might say here. Hard to tell. So let me go back to the Visual Studio Code and see if there's a node module here called mongoose. Sorry, Mongo, or mongoDB. Okay, it looks like it did. It looks like it did install mongoDB, so I don't have to install that separately. So now I should be able to access it in my code if I want. Let me go back to server.js and let us see how we can get that working. All right, so we have to create Mongoose and we have to connect to the database. Actually, let's just copy all this and see if it actually works. So we have Mongoose up top. We connect to the database. I think I have to get the database running first. Right now we have our server running, but we don't have the database up and running. So let me open up another tab, another terminal tab, and let us run Mongo from here. Or let's get Mongo up and running. So I think to do that, I just have to type in Mongo, or maybe it's like mongoD. Let's try Mongo and see if that works. So that did not work. Couldn't connect to server. Connection attempt failed. Okay, so maybe we need to do mongoD first. All right, that's shut down also. Connect failed. Why is it not connecting? Let me think. Maybe it's the version? Mongo 4.2.8. What's the latest? mongoDB 4.2.8. No, I think it's the most recent one. I just saw that on the right side. Look at the docs. Mongo Shell Edition? Is that it? All right, let me go back to Mongoose. Maybe if I run this, when I hit save over here, it'll automatically, maybe it'll run this. It'll create this cat with a name, and then it's gonna say meow once that actually, I guess, receives a response. Let's see if that works. So I hit save. And now I need to see in the database if that actually went in. Error connecting to. Let me just Google this then. Caused by connection refused. Oops. Let's see if we can find that error and fix it. Error couldn't connect to server that. All right, let's see. Cannot connect to server on the specified hostname, IP, and port. Why not? So let's look at Stack Overflow and see what people say. So I need to start the mongoD process. Okay, start mongoD server, and then start the Mongo shell. So let me go back to my terminal. I thought I did though. Let me clear this out. mongoD. Do I need to like pass in something? Yeah, it's not working. mongoD version? Is it not installed or something? No, it is. It should work. Maybe I need to run it as sudo. No. I'm gonna try Googling that. mongoD shut doesn't connect. mongoD not working. Oh, you know what it is? Maybe it's not able to connect to the database that I have on my computer. Oh, geez. So how do I do that? I have to change the owner of the data to /db. So maybe I need to have the specific. I need to have the right data. I need to have the folder in existence wherever it's trying to save it. So, or wherever it's going to be saving data to the database. Where is it going to be saving the database? mongoD data folder. Or data not found, maybe it's that. Is that the error that I was getting in my terminal? Let me make this a little bit smaller just so I could actually read it. Yes, oh, so that's exactly what's happening. Data directory, data /db not found. Create the missing directory or specify another path by using the db path command line option. Okay, so let me Google a solution for this. Data directory not found. Oh. You need to create this directory as root. So either you need to use sudo or you need to do su to become the super user and then create the directory. Let me do this. Let me just, I mean, this might work. I wonder what the /p does. All right, let's try that. Read-only file system. Did it work? Shutting down with code. So, let's try running it. Sudo or just mongoD. All right, hold on. This looks different. Permission denied. So maybe sudo mongoD. No. It still says that the path is not found. Where do I save that though? Data directory not found. Create the missing directory. Let me Google that. Okay, this is from April 2020. This is good. Close out of some of these tabs that I don't need. This problem happens for Mac OS version Catalina because after the new update makes the root folder no longer writable. Okay, so maybe that's the issue. You can no longer store files or data in the read-only system volume, nor can you write to the root directory from the command line, such as with terminal. Okay, so Catalina is screwing this up apparently. So how do we fix this? So mongoDB is looking for data path to store the data, and you need to provide the path. One way is to create the directory if it does not exist, but you may not have the root privilege to the directory. So we're going to create a data path in our personal home directory. Okay, so let us. Is this what we want to do? This is getting a little bit too intense. I don't want to do that. I just want like a simple answer. Maybe I could change the path. mongoD path port no. No, that's a little bit too old. Something more recent. I mean, that might be the way to get it working, I guess. This is what I just. Oh, maybe I didn't do. Did I do this? Can't remember. Oh, it doesn't let me do that. Read-only file system. So I think that's the Catalina thing that they were saying. Yeah. So maybe I'll use this other path. I'll try to create it in this path. So let's try that. So we'll make it in, not in data./db, but in users/user/data.db/db. Let's see if this works. Okay, I think that worked. So now I just have to set that as the path for mongoD. So I could just copy paste this inside of my terminal. No, that didn't work. Really? Oh, maybe let's try sudo. Permission denied, I see right there on the right. Let's try sudo. Non-existent path, data directory, not found. db path equals. And I created users user data db users user users user data db users. All right, I don't know why that's not working. Actually, let me see if I can find it in my Finder. If I can find it in my actual on the computer. So under users, and this is the user, me, data, here it is, and there's DB. And this is from July, so I mean, I was doing something before in here. So why is it not working? I guess last month I was doing something in here, I don't even remember. Non-existent path, data directory, users, user, not found. Specify another path using the DB path. Terminating. Aborting after F assert failure. Well, that's annoying. This is not right. Edit the config file. Let's try to use Vim and see if we could get that working. There's nothing in here. All right, so how do we quit out of here? It's like :Q. There we go. Well, that didn't have anything. Oh, maybe this is how we do it? I actually had the DB path equals something. But that's not what I want. Maybe it has to be like this. Let me go to my terminal. DB path, it's users. Oops. Data-db. So it was users/user/data/db. Maybe it has to be written like this. User. Nope. Huh. My goodness, this is so annoying. Mongo repair? mongoD repair? No, it did not help at all. Let me clear that off a little bit. So this is when you could see that, like, you know, sometimes debugging something, I mean, I'm sure the answer is so simple. The solution is so simple. And, you know, I might spend the next hour here trying to figure this thing out. So, you know, it happens. So that's not the issue. So the issue is mongoD macOS data directory. No, this is really old. I'm just going to like read a lot of documentation, try a bunch of things to try to get it working. And I may fail, but I'm going to, you know, not give up and keep working. Okay, MongoDB on macOS Catalina. Oh, do I have to create an account? Come on. You gotta be kidding me. No way. Out of principle, I will not. Reddit? Maybe someone has a solution on Reddit? Create a directory where you can write and pass it to Mongo. So let me see if I could, all right, let me see if I could create the directory in my backend folder. Let's see if I could just do that. How do I get to the, what's the full path of my, to get to my backend? So let me see if I could find that in the Finder. So let's go to the desktop, backend. Is there a way to copy the full path? Get info, maybe? Where is the full path? Because I should be able to read and write in there. Oh, is it this? Users, Mr. G. Let's try that. Let me see if I could save it like that. Or copy paste it like that. Let's see. Not in here. Yes, okay, so it'll let me do that. So make dir p, what's the /p flag? So let me type in Unix /p, -p. Or what does -p do? Mongo -p. Wait, make dir -p. Let me put that in quotes so I could find someone that, like a response that actually has that exact same thing. Create subdirectories of a directory. It will create parent directory first if it does not exist. If it already exists, then it'll print an error message. It's helpful when you don't know if a directory already exists or not. Okay. Just read one more response and see if I could understand exactly what it makes. Parent. So no error if existing. Make parent directories as needed. Use case example. Suppose or assume I want to create directories hello/goodbye, but none exist. So it'll create more than one path if it needs to, or directory if it needs. It'll create all the directories necessary to fulfill the request, not returning any error in case that the directory exists. Okay. So I am going to create the directory users Mr. G coding desktop backend data DB. So that is really long, but can I copy this so that when I run mongoD, it does it? So let me just run this. I think that's all I need. I'm going to make the database like right now. Or this folder, sorry, right now. Let's hit enter. I think it worked. Let's see, there's the data. There's a data folder. Let me go into it and see if there's a DB folder. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's back out. In the back end, let us type in mongoD and then give it the correct path. So it's users Mr. G coding desktop backend data DB. That's my path for the database. Let's hope this works. I think it did. I think it's working. All right, so now that I have the that go up and running, I think, yes, listening on port 27017. Now let me open up another tab and type in Mongo, so I could open up the shell, so I could actually start like looking in this database, putting things in the database. Yes, we are in. Okay, so that worked. So now if I go back to my Finder and actually look at the backend folder, the data, the DB, there should be things in there, and there are. So this was just created a minute ago. So this is that's what I needed to do. I needed to specify the exact path where I wanted to save my data. I don't know why the other ones didn't work, because it did exist. I just don't know. Maybe I typed it in wrong or something. Okay, so now I could actually do show DBs, and there's pretty much nothing in there. I don't remember off the top of my head. How could I create a database? Or just type in DB. Doesn't matter. You know what? Now I should be able to run my code and actually see something in there. I should be able to run this. Oh, so this broke. The connection was refused. Oh, so I couldn't save this before. This happened before when it tried running again. Let me stop it. And let me try rerunning the server. And it did. We got back meow. So it was able to connect to the database, and it created, I guess, a test database. We should be able to see it in our terminal here. So let me do show DBs. There's test. So I think you have to do use test. And now I'm inside of the test database. And what do we do? db.find, is it something like that? Or db.test.find? No, that's not the command. Find? No. db.find? Nope. Show collections. Maybe that's that. Cats. Okay. db.cats.find, and there we go. We could see this entry in this this cats collect. So we have our test database. we have a cats collection, and we see the item inside there. So we only have one thing in there, and that is Zildjian. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I think that's like the drumming company, or like the cymbals or whatever. We have the object ID, and this is beautiful. This is exactly what we need to be able to save items inside of a database. Okay, so this works. I'm not going to do a test database. I'm going to do the schools database. So inside of the schools database, let me actually comment all this out, because I don't want to. I don't want it to like actually save another cat inside of the database when I save this. So let me save this right now. It's not going to save anything. It connected to the database, but there's nothing, there's nothing there. Nothing was added to the database. Nothing was saved. That I'm going to have in my, well, I'm going to end up creating an API endpoint, so that that way the front end can send a request to the correct API endpoint with the data that's required, that it needs, and then I'll save everything using this code. Okay, so right now it is, well, actually, let me connect back to test and see if I could spit back what's inside of that test database. Because remember, we have this cat. If I go back to my terminal and I run the same code again, we see that we have this object, this cat object. And I should be able to add one. If I wanted to add another object, I could do that. But right now there's one in there, so that's okay. That's all I need. I want to be able to grab this cat thing and spit it back to someone who's making a request. I want to see if I can get that working. Okay, so in here, in the get request, if someone requests the school's path, I want to respond. Well, first I guess I want to connect to the database. I already connected to the database, but I want to grab what's in the database and spit it back. So how do we do that? So I got all that working. Let's close out these tabs that we definitely don't need anymore. We got that working. Let's see in Mongoose. I guess the Mongoose documentation is going to have the instructions for how I can grab things from the database. So let's read the docs. Okay, we could define our schema. We're going to do that for our school, teacher, all that stuff. But how do we actually grab stuff from the database? Maybe in document? Set? No. Get? Query? Find. Well, this isn't finding everything. Oh wait, it's if not specified returns all documents. So this could work. All right, so let me create a constant without any without anything in as the argument. So how do I actually do that? Let's use the callback, because that's what I'm familiar with. I'm more familiar with callbacks than promises or async await. But that might work. I mean, we could try it. Let's try it. Let's see if it works. So we are going to throw that in our get schools. Let's call this not response, but let's call this the cat doc or something. So this is going to look inside of kitty. me save cat, I think. Cat.find, and then we don't want to look for anything. And what we want to do is we want to respond with catdoc. But I don't know if that's going to be the right type or if that's going to work correctly. So I think I'm going to need like an async thing here. See, I don't know exactly how to use this. Let me use the callback. And why is it doing movie? Let's see if I can do it with callbacks. Maybe it's cat.find. What did I name the... Mongoose.connect. Okay. I have a feeling it's cat just because that's what I named the database, or the thing in the database. Let me just remove all the search parameters, because I don't want to find anything specific. Maybe just the callback in here, if we don't put anything in there. Would this work? Console.log. Let's see what we get back. Let me just log it out before I try to like send it back as JSON, because that should be inside of the callback anyway, and see if this works. So let us go back to this. So let's refresh. Cat not defined. I mean, I don't know how it's stored in the database. So let me go back here and see if I can figure it out. db.cats. So maybe it's cats. But I don't think this knows, it doesn't know what cats is, I don't think. Go back to Safari. Let's see if we can find something in like a Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow. Mongoose read from DB. How do I read data from MongoDB using Mongoose? All right, so this saves it. Get book details. Not what I'm looking for right now. var db equals mongoose.connection. How does it know it should be kitten? Kitten.find. The model. I mean, that might not work. Oh no, it should be cat. You know what it is? Oh, because I commented out cat. So maybe I need to uncomment this so I could use cat down here in my get. And now I could find it. Let's see if this works. So I'm gonna go back to my schools page. I refreshed. Let's see if it's working. It's taking too long already. Let me go to my code. You know what? I probably have to do. Oh, it is working. It logged it out to the console here. So I was able to grab it. Okay, good. Okay, so. Okay. All right, so let's, all right, so we are able to access the database. It's not sending it back as JSON. So let me see if I can get that working, so that way I could actually see it in the browser. So I'm able to display it in the terminal here in. Oh yeah, it doesn't know what catdoc is. What am I doing here? ARR is with a response or array maybe. I think that's what I think it returns an array of whatever documents are in there or anything. Oops, let me close that out. Let me go back to Safari and let's refresh. Perfect. Look at that. So now my browser is able to get stuff from the database. It's able to get a response from the database. Great. This is awesome. So now let me modify this cat model object thing and turn it into a school and try to get some simple things in this database that I could then return when someone makes a call to the API. Okay, so let's go back to our code. Let's modify this from, You know what? Maybe on this. I almost want to make a page that will allow me to create things here in the back end. But I don't know if that's. No, I want to keep it all in Angular, because if I do that, that's going to be like weird. Sorry, I'm like thinking out loud. All right, we connect. We're going to save it in the schools database. Oops, don't, oh my goodness. No, it's okay, nothing happened, okay. We are going to do something similar here. So const cat, or sorry, school equals mongoose dot model. This is named school. And then we have to create a schema for the school. So school schema. Oops, I'm getting a bunch of things that should not be happening. Okay. Oh, it crashed because it doesn't know what school schema is. So let us create a constant, call it school schema, and set it equal to the things that a school needs. So the school requires a name, which is of type string. It requires a principal, which is of type string. What else? It requires an address, which is of type, you guessed it, string. And actually, we're in an object, so we're not doing semicolons, we're doing commas here. It requires, Dave said not to do an array of teachers, so I guess we'll create our own, another way to store the teachers. Let's just get the school information working. So if we go back to our project, every school has a name, a principal, an address, and teachers. But we're going to leave the teachers out for now. We're just going to try to get this main stuff working. Okay, let me go back to my code. So just name, principal, address. Let's just go with those three. Okay. Okay, so that is our school, and we want to save our school when we run this the first time. So the const first school equals a new school, and here I have to pass in the object with the information that we want to add. So school, when I open it up, it should let me. Oh, I thought it would give me the the parameters that I needed to add, but I guess it doesn't. Doc is any. So I guess we need the name. So that is let's do PS1. Principal. Oh wait, this has to be an object. So there we go. So We need a name, and we're going to call it PS1. Principal, who we are going to call, what should we name this principal? Let's name them Crabtree. Crabtree is a good name for a principal, and this has to be a string. And the third and final item is the address, which is going to be, 123 Good Street. There we go. Let me hit save, and there it created the first school object, or object of type school, and now we just have to save it. So we could do first school.save, and then this is a promise, and when it saves it, it's going to return saved school. There we go. We saved the school. Now let me just comment all this out, because we don't need to. I'm going to comment this code out, because I don't want to keep creating the same school. I think if I keep saving this over and over again, it'll save the school. But now we should be able to find this whatever's inside of schools, and when I hit that API endpoint, it should return the school that I just created. So let me refresh, and there we go. There's our school, PS1, Principal Crabtree, and this address. Good. Okay, so this is great. Okay. What else does it say in here? So let me read. Maybe the quick start guide might have been a better idea. Once I install Mongoose, connect. This would be a good idea to see if I actually have a connection to the database. If we connect correctly. Yeah, because otherwise, if I have an issue with the database not being up or something, that's going to present a problem. So we are going to add that code here somewhere. So I don't need cat anymore. The school schema I'm going to leave in there. Once it connects, db mongoose.connection. Actually, let's just leave it the way it is right now. I'll figure out a better way to do that, or the right way to kind of get that working later on. Let's see what else it says in here. So we have the kitten schema. They use this cat example. We haven't saved anything to MongoDB. Each document can be saved to the database by calling its save method. So that's what we did. We saved, right? That's how we did it. Yeah, we ran the save method, but we used a promise here. It's going to be the same thing though. Over here they use a callback, but it's the same. Okay. All right, let's see what else. Okay, so I want to return. So this backend it's coming together. It's a little slow, but we're. Hey, Sebastian, how's it going? Sorry, I'm just seeing the message. I don't know how long ago you sent that, but hopefully it wasn't too long. Let me see. You saw me at Panera in the fall. Yes, I've gone to Panera a bunch of times. I still like going there. Sometimes I meet up with teachers over there. Yes. Miss you too, though. Okay, what am I doing here? What's next? So when someone does a GET request, it finds all the schools in the database and spits them back to them in a JSON format. What have you been up to, Sebastian? I was too shy to say hi. Oh, come up with Emily. Which Emily? Sing? Don't be shy. If you guys ever see me out, feel free to come up, say hi. Ask for my autograph, whatever you need. You were with the guidance counselor. Yes. Well, not blind, blonde. Yeah, I was meeting up with Miss Nagai. Oh my gosh. You should have come by, you should have stopped by and said hi. Don't be shy next time. Although I don't know the next time I'm gonna go to Panera because of COVID, but yeah, never be shy. Not with me. Yes, I did. In the fall? When you saw me in the fall, or you mean right now? I've lost a bit of weight. Some people notice. Okay, so I'm able to save stuff to the database and grab them out. Grab it out of the database in my when they make a call here. No more getting bagels. Yeah, I took down that video. I think I took down the video, actually. If that's what you're referring to. Okay. Actually, to add a school to the database, so that would be a post. Let me delete this. Actually, no, I don't want to delete this. Save this. So what has the summer been? Or what are your plans for the fall? What are you doing this fall? In my create section, that's where I'm gonna app.post. And I'm gonna post to say maybe create. So I'm going to post to create. I'm going to City Tech. Not excited for online learning. Oh. So they already said that they're going to be going full online learning all of the fall semester? And what are you going to be studying? Do you know? Have you like chosen your classes yet? It must be starting pretty soon, actually. Create. And then we're going to request response, and we'll have a callback here. So the request.body, let's do console.log, and let's see what people send us. Electrical engineering, yes, yeah, the 26th, awesome. Well, good luck with that. With electrical engineering, sounds pretty tough. I think I've been to City Tech a couple of times. I always get mixed up with City Tech, City College. Is City Tech the one that's like right by the Brooklyn Bridge? Like right by High Street, I think it's called, the stop? Emily's gonna go to Queens College? Cool. I actually just finished my master's degree at Queens College in December. So I literally just finished right before COVID. I'm kind of lucky that I didn't have to deal with that. Yeah, J Street. Yeah, J Street Metro Tech. Actually, my one of the offices that I work out of is right over there. So actually, I ran into Emily over there too. She was going there. She was going with her mom to I think it was her sister's graduation, and I ran right into. I stumbled upon her just by chance. Yes, I'm always down there by J Street Metro Tech, but yeah, I mean, I don't know when I'll be back there just because of this COVID situation. Everyone's been working from home on our team. Wonder if this will work. Let me see if I can get Postman working. She told me, hopefully I run into you one of these days. Yes. I really do enjoy running into former students, older students. So definitely don't be shy next time, no matter who I'm with or where I am. I've run into students in Atlantic City before, just by chance also, which was kind of funny. Postman, where are you? There you are. Let me make this a bit smaller so we could see it on the screen. Okay. Oh, let me clear all this stuff out. School got whack. Mr. GCTA, I mean, why? Because I left? Don't save. All right, so now with Postman, I should be able to make these requests without having to use the browser. We'll see if it works. It's let's make a GET request to localhost 3000/schools. Let me send that request, and we get the response. Yes, we get our school response right there. Why is it not showing? What is going on? How did it change? Why do you say that? What is with this thing? Let me close it and open it again, I guess. Postman. Well, at least you're done, even if it did get whack, right? Although it kind of does, it's unfortunate that COVID happened and like your senior year was kind of messed up a little bit. I mean, not just a little bit, like completely. That's pretty unfortunate. There we go. All right, cool. So we are able to get a response. Now I want to be able to save schools to the database. So I have to be able to, let's see. All right, how do we create things? Let me go to the documentation for Mongoose. Yeah, but we had a little too much fun. It's all good. What is going on? What is my computer doing? What do you do for work now? So now I am, I still work in the DOE, so I'm still in the education system, but now I teach teachers how to teach computer science, and I train them on how to teach computer science to students in grades K through 8, so kindergarten through 8th grade. So actually our training starts next week, so I'm going to be training teachers on Google Meet for all of next week and then the entire next year. But we're going to be doing everything virtually. In the past, we did everything in person. So teachers would come to us and we would teach them we would teach them some computer science stuff, like surface level computer science, and then we teach them and give them like stuff that they could do with their students. So yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. So I don't do anything else in science anymore. I just do computer science now stuff. But I like it. I mean, I like this stuff a lot. I don't want to say a lot more, but I do like it a lot more. Not that I don't like science anymore, though, either. I love science. Well, so is the online aspect of the permanent? I don't think it's permanent. It's tough to say because it really is tough to say like what's going to happen. My guess is that this is going to change the way things are done in like maybe 2 years or 3 years. So like instead of having snow days, it'll just be like an online learning day kind of a thing. Or maybe some students, some schools, some teachers are going to have like an online component to their classes. Possibly, maybe for like seniors that want to like do an internship, but maybe need credit or something like that. It's hard to say. Or maybe some seniors that maybe like students that like have fallen behind on credits or need extra credits, like they'll probably have like some sort of like online schooling or blended learning option. But I think for now it's hard. It's tough to predict if it's gonna be permanent or if it's gonna stick around. It might not. I mean, things might just go back to like normal in like a couple of years or in a year or so, maybe next year. It's hard to say because, until there's like a vaccine or until like, we see that, the virus has been like, maybe eradicated or at least, it's the percentage of people that are infected or can get infected is low, which will probably take a vaccine. Until we get down to those levels, like, we could still have a spike, and that's the thing that people are concerned about. But for school, this year is going to be like weird again. Hard. It's tough to predict what's going to happen, but this year is going to be a little bit different, at least at the start. And hopefully by the end of this school year, things will get closer to normal a little bit. But we'll see. We have no idea. I know a lot of students in college are upset because they're paying so much money for tuition and expecting to be able to go to a class and do things, and sometimes like maybe their classes are all online now. I know there are some classes that they've created they're allowing students to come back in like 1 day a week or something for like labs or whatever it is, but not everyone has that. Well, don't get too nervous. You just got to get used to the like however it is when you actually are there, like doing classes online. It is weird though because a lot of like, especially in electrical engineering, I'm sure there's a lot of like activities where it requires like you working with the team or talking to people. So now you're just gonna have to like do that online. But I don't know how they're gonna like link you up with other people or like have you meet other people. But the beauty about the internet, or the best thing about like learning now or being in school now, is that you have the internet available to you. Not that I didn't, but YouTube and like there's so many resources and sources of information. So if like let's say your professor isn't that great or the textbook's tough to understand, you can go on like YouTube and find someone teaching what you have to learn in a way that you can understand it. And there's like dozens and dozens of people teaching and videos. Hundreds of videos, thousands of videos on whatever topic you have like an idea or you have to learn about. So I would say don't get too nervous. There, like you'll find a way to succeed and do well. What am I doing here? Oh yeah, I want to be able to save someone when someone hits the create endpoint. And so it's going to be very similar to this. Okay, so when I get a request, I need to touch things and get my attention grabbed to learn. My oldest sister tells me I'll adjust with the use of the internet and everything. Yeah, you're gonna have to get used to it. It's just, it is unfortunate though. I will say that, like, it is unfortunate that, your senior year was kind of like, cut short or like kind of like, I don't want to say ruined. It was just different now. And your first semester in college, at least the first semester, is going to be also different, but not insurmountable. You'll be able to figure it out. I'm sure they're going to probably have like forums or connect you with other students in your class and have you do like classwork and do stuff like that. Maybe if the lessons are live, like on Zoom, then you'll be able to go and chat and talk to people. Try to form connections. Try to like make friends like that. Especially people that are in your class. Because that'll be very helpful. It's so much more helpful when you're able to like work as a team instead of you by yourself. And use YouTube, use the internet, use all the resources available to you to do well. So here, the name is going to be the request.body.name, I'm assuming. Principal is going to be request.body.principal. I'm assuming it's going to be in something called the body, in the object body. And then this is going to be the address, request.body.address. Actually, now that I think about it, I might need body parser in here. Senior year, all I did was copy and paste on Google Classroom. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was tough because a lot of people didn't know how to use Google Classroom or didn't, like especially teachers, like very few of them were prepared to be able to take their class online, from one week to the other, to the next. It was very difficult for teachers to do that transition. And students, it's not easy. It was definitely crazy. Name, principal, address. School.save. Saved school. Let me console.log the request first before I try to do any of this. So I want to see what the incoming request actually looks like. Let me just do REQ. I felt bad for my teachers. Yeah, me too. I felt bad it completely changed everything. I don't want to say that no one could have predicted it, but who the heck could have thought that would happen, Oh yeah, let's go to Postman and see what that looks like. Did you do any computer science or no? Yeah, Bambists are so cool with emojis and he would get confused. Create. And let's pass in some stuff in the body. Let's create a body. How do we create a body? Post. Key is A, B, C. Let's see if we could capture this. All right, so let me send this to create. Oh, is this how it's sending the body? No, I don't want to do parameters like that. I don't want to send params. I want to do. Actually, should I do params? I think it's going to be like this. A, B, B, C. Let's just see if we can get this. Let me hit send. Oh, okay, we're getting messed up here. We have to close out this connection, so I think I have to do res.send or end. Maybe it's .end. I'll try this again. Let's try sending. There we go. Didn't send anything back, but that's okay. I wanted to do computer science, but I got lazy and I would watch others work and learn. Gotcha. Definitely try to check it out. Within the next 4 years, if you get an opportunity to take like an intro to CS class, if you have like any electives or have space to do something like that, you should definitely try it out and see if you like it. And don't be lazy either. So this was our response. This is crazy. Or this is the request that we received. How the heck do we read through all this? Where's A and B? Don't be lazy, be amazing. Yes. And make sure you do things, create things, learn, apply what you're learning. Especially if you like it. Like if you love what you're learning. Actually, the best piece of advice I would give is to start figuring out what job opportunities or what internships are available, or what you could be doing what you might be doing after college. Because once you figure out what you want to do, then the path becomes really clear. Stuff you're doing looks terrifying. It is terrifying right now because it's not working. I'm trying to figure out how to get it to work. But I mean, like anything else, as long it just some people might get this really quickly and get it to work in 5 seconds. I'm not in a race to try to finish it. I'm just trying to understand things, learn, create. I'm not really and because I'm learning for the sake of learning and not because I'm going to be tested on a quiz or something after, I'm able to go at my own pace. And as long as I don't give up, I should get there. All right, this is getting too crazy. I don't think I could read this like this. Can I paste the body? Can I do rec.body? Does that do anything? So let me hit the server with Postman again. And undefined. So I think I need to bring in another something else. I think it's called body parser, if I'm not mistaken. It looks scary, but the more you do it, the less scary it gets, even though it's always tough. Yeah, I need to import body parser. So I have to install that so I could capture what is being sent by the client. So let us install that in the show DBs. All right, I could drop the test DB. How do I drop it? How do I delete a database? It doesn't matter. Let me just get out of the shell and let us install body parser. I'm off, Mr. G. It's time to sleep. Hopefully one of these days I'll run into you when I'm older and we can drink a modelo. Sure. Once you're 21 and up, we'll first one's on me. Have a good night, Sebastian. Good talking to you. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so I did that. And now we have to bring it into our project, body parser. Let's make it a constant because we're not going to change that. Body parser. And now, how do we actually use it? Body parser.text. Maybe body parser. Okay, no, that's okay. Oh, here we go. I need to. Yes, because I'm going to send. These are going to be the requests. XWWW form URL encoded. I'm going to need that, or I need to use the use. I'm going to need both of these. Okay, so let us save that in here. So now I could parse through JSON. So now I could read JSON. Okay, let me hit save. Maybe now it'll work. Let's see if it could receive the information from here. Sent the request, and we almost got it. What's this object null prototype thing? .a. So wait. So maybe now it'll say B. Let's try it again. Let's go to Postman, hit send. And it says B. Perfect. Okay, so we are able to, okay, good. We are able to get that working. So let us pass in the name. We have to figure out how to structure that correctly. Let me actually save it in a constant. Constant name equals rec.body.name. This is a school name, or school name. Let me name it school name. Const principal equals rec.body.principal. And const address equals rec.body.address. Okay, so now once I capture that in the request, if I don't get one of those, it's going to screw up. How do you capture errors in using the promises? All right, we'll figure that out. So I'm going to save a school. The name is going to be the school name. Actually, why don't we let's change our schema. Ah, crud. If I change it now, it's going to screw up what's already in the database. But you know what, this is fine. We'll leave it like that. So we'll do name equals school name, principal equals principal, and actually I think since ES6 we could just do that, so we don't have to, and same thing for address, we don't have to actually, if it's the exact same you don't have to put both, I think. Not 100% sure on that, but I think that's right. Let me hit save, and I mean, because I did that, I should just do the same thing for the school name. Keep it consistent. Then we're going to save this school in the database. Then, and how do you catch an error in a promise? Let me Google that. JavaScript promise. Then catch, is that error? Then and then error. Okay, so if there's an error, we're going to put a comma after this first, like the function. So we're going to do this. I mean, we really should put parentheses then. And then we do comma. Error is going to spit back console.error, and then we're going to display the error if that's the case. Okay. I think that should work. So if something goes wrong, it should display an error here in the database. And once it's done with all this, then we send back an empty response. Or let's send back, let's see if this works. Let's send back, we'll send back JSON, and then we'll say, actually, will that work? How's that work? Should I have that inside of here? The school was saved. Sounds kind of funny, actually. You know what? Let's just send back nothing, and we'll see. We'll see if that works. So let's go back to our schools. Refresh. Oh, we don't want to go back to schools. We want to go back to Postman and see if this saves. Actually, if I hit send now, it should break because it's expecting the name, it's expecting the principal and the address. So if I just send A and B, this should break. So I hit send, nothing got sent back, but in my Visual Studio Code, I should have seen some error. But it doesn't look like we got an error. It says the school was saved. Let me look at what's in the database. So let me refresh this page. It didn't save anything. It's just empty. That's not good. So what's happening? It is a post request, by the way. This is how we're going to create our new. It's how we're going to create our new schools. Rect.body.name, principal address. It should be erroring out. Like if it's not able to save them. Am I not using create? No, I am using create. And in the body, how do I catch that error? Like that if it's not getting if one of these is not being set, like it should be erroring out completely. And that's what happened. I hit save, but there was no name, principal, or address field. So it just saved nothing. All right, let's look at the documentation for Mongoose and see how the save works. Save. All right, well, that's not right. Maybe it's this one. No. Oh, okay. Let's So the promise is getting fulfilled, even though it's not what I want. Let's go back here. And it's not doing this error. Okay, hold on, let me just answer a couple of texts. Okay. Let us find, I guess, let's Google it. Let's just type in mongoose handle create or save. Mongoose save document. So let's open up some of these and see if we can find a good one that looks good. Here we have the schema. No, it's not. It's not a good. It's not what I'm looking for. This is from June. Let's see. I really have to learn how async await works because I actually do not know. Save is asynchronous, so it returns a promise you get to wait on. Wait. Person, find one. If you set a field to an invalid value, see that it should be breaking because the schema should dictate that dictates that it needs a new school needs these items. So why doesn't it break? Let me delete this. Why does it not break? Maybe because it's not. No, but it says it has to be a string. So why is that? Why is it not breaking? I think this promise is not. It's not what I want. Let's look at a Stack Overflow response. Oh, did I not? Maybe I didn't say that I needs that. Oh. So I think I figured it out. This needs to also be inside of here. I think. So that model tells us how we're going to be saving this thing. I think this should work. Let's try running it again. Not Visual Studio Code. Let me open up Postman again, and let's try running it. Okay. It says the school was saved. Okay, so that's not what the issue was. And if I refresh, it's going to be school's not defined. What? Oh, now it's looking for it outside and it doesn't see it because I put it inside of a method. Oh. Why is it not breaking? It's so ridiculous that when I don't want it to work, it works. But it's not working right because now it's gonna, there it is. So now we see two items in there that are completely blank. Not cool, not cool. Let us go back to the documentation and see if we can find like a better solution. I mean, maybe we should just Google it. Mongoose JS save body save rec.body. Let's see if something like that comes out. Parse the payload using Mongoose models with the post endpoint. Save is in executing. Not able to save if is an array. All right, let's see what we got so far. Okay, and we could have a response.stat. We could send back a status also. You can pass the rect.body to your car like this. Yeah, this is very similar to what I'm trying to do here. No, that's not what I want. Close. Here. Let's try using, instead of using the promise, let's try using the callback method. I know promises are attractive, but I have no idea how to use them. So it's going to be school.save. If there's an error, there we go. Otherwise, we're going to share the post. I'll have this send just in case. Actually, let's do the res.status. I think 200 is okay at the end of all this. But yeah, this might work. Okay, so let me hit save. Let us now run the same thing. A, B, B, D. And we got back an error. Is that right? Let me go back here. Let me refresh. Okay, so that might be good. I mean, I did want an error, but this doesn't look it's not a very good error. Let's see if I could access the properties in the object for the error. Let me turn this off. Let's see if I could access the properties in the error, so I could easily see what's going on. But why is it returning? All right, let's try. So name, principal, address. Name, principal, address. So let's save. Let's go to Postman. We're going to try using the correct name, principal, and address. So let's try ABC for all of them. They're all expected to be strings. Let me hit send. Moment of truth. We still got an error. 500 internal server error. Cannot overwrite school model once compiled. What do you mean? Let me, maybe, all right, that's saved. Okay, that's not it. Let's go to Postman again. I'm gonna run this and see if it errors out again. Yeah, it errors out. Okay, so what is the issue here? Overwrite model error cannot. Okay, let's Google this. A mongoose cannot overwrite model once compiled. Errors occurring because you already have a schema defined, and then you're defining the schema again. Oh, did I? Is that what I did? I have the model twice. Let me lower this a little bit and see if we can find out where the issue's coming from. Oh, yes, it's right here, twice. Oh my goodness. All right, let me hit save. Let's try this again. So now this should work. I think it worked. It got back, so let me show you the response. It got back a response of what I just put in. Now if I go to my browser and refresh, let me close all this. If I refresh, there it is, ABC, ABC, ABC. Let me make sure that it breaks when I try to pass in, what was it, the key, sorry, the body, like the wrong body. Where are they? Right here, A and B. So this should break. No, it saves it. Ugh, why is it doing that? I mean, so let me just refresh and we'll see, yeah, we see an empty one right here, an empty object. So what I could do is in the code, actually, what is this? Let me do console.log name. And let's see what it spits back. Yo plus name. Let's see what it says when I actually send it the wrong thing. Okay, and it says yo undefined. Okay, so I'm going to do, you know what? I'm going to check to see if any of these are undefined. If name undefined or principal undefined or address. So if any of these are undefined, I just want to break out of here. So we're going to return an error. We're going to break out of this whole thing and prevent it from continuing. Let's just do return. I think that'll, or maybe, can I do throw error? How does it know what to say in the error, though? I'll just do, let me look that up. JavaScript throw error. Okay, I'm gonna is that how I want to do this? No, let's just return. We'll just break out of here. So nothing will get saved, but nothing will happen either. The issue is that no one's gonna know what the hell happened if they run it. But that's okay. Let's see if that works. So I'm gonna hit create, and it threw an error. So let me actually, you know what? Why don't we could, instead of returning, we could res.status. I think 400 is something bad. Res.error maybe? Let me see how Express, no, not this. Let me see how Express handles the errors. Express return error. Maybe something like that. Let's try that. Let's try throw new error broken. But is that going to send a response though? Let's do this. Maybe, maybe not. Hold on, wait. Res.status 500 send. All right, so this should send something back to Postman. Missing name, principal, or address, and or address. Will that stop it from continuing? Let's find out. I don't think so, actually. Oh, it might, actually. We'll see. So let us run this. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we got an error. And it says missing name, principal, and or address. So what is our error event here? App crashed, waiting for a file. I think it crashed because it tried to continue on to the unhandled error events. So maybe we just have to return. Let's try this now. Use resstatus.json instead. Server. Unhandled error event. It's what I mean. I'm taking this from the documentation. Why is that not like perfect? Console.error. Actually, this looks better. Maybe it has to be in an object. So error something. Let's use this error that I just wrote, and we can delete that. And I don't. We'll leave the return in there. Maybe that'll help. Okay, so Postman. Actually, I want to see it in here. Okay, so it's listening. Let's run Postman. Okay, we got the error in a JSON format, and here doesn't seem like anything happened. So it did not save. It did not save the post, which is, I think, good. That's what we wanted. Let me go back to my Safari. Let me refresh and sorry. Let me open up schools. Wait, there's one there. Is that the one that was just created? Did that just get created, or was that from the last one? Let's try one more time. Actually, let's try a few. So I keep sending it. All right, nothing's happening. Let me refresh here. Good. Okay, so it's not saving anything else. It's not saving the empty ones because it's not formatted correctly. So let's go back to a good create. So it needs a name, it needs a principal, and an address. Principal and an address. And let's do value DDD, DDD, DDD. Okay, so I'm going to hit send. We get back principal. Oh, I misspelled it. I could see that. Principal. Where did I misspell it? Oh, I misspelled it in Postman. No, I didn't. Principal. In server line 25. Let's see, line 25. Oh, here. Principal. Address. Okay, let me hit save. Let's try that one more time. There we go. That looks good. And now in my browser, if I refresh, there we go. We see the DDDs. Okay, great. Okay, so let me clear out my database just so I could start anew. So let me open up the Mongo shell. Show DBs. So we have our schools database. So I could do something like db.schools.find.pretty, so I could see everything that's in there right now. Maybe that's not how I do it. db.schools.find. Or use schools. I gotta do use schools first. Now I could do that. Now I could do that. There we go. So these are all the schools that are in there. So I want to delete everything. How do I drop the database? Drop schools. All right, I'm going to have to Google that. MongoDB drop database. Use, db dot drop database. So that's how we do it. Okay, so let's go back to the terminal. Let's do db dot drop database. And then we drop the schools. So it's show DBs. Okay, use test db drop database. There we go. We dropped test. So now if we do show DBs, it's empty. Let us save one school. So we go back to Postman, and we'll do A, B, and C as the name, the principal, the address. Let me hit save, send, and this should have saved that. So let me find it. Let me close out of some of these things. So if I refresh the page, we should just see one item in there. There we go, A, B, and C as the name, principal, and address. Good. All right, so we got that working. Okay, and if someone sends something wrong, then it's going to send back this error. It's going to send back a 500 error with these things inside there. Otherwise, it's going to continue on and create the school, save it into the database, and send back, hopefully, res.status 200, I think. Actually, it really shouldn't. It really shouldn't hit this. I don't think we need that. Let me hit save. Let me save another one and see if we get the right response. So let's go, that was ABC. Let's go ASDF, and ASDF. Let me hit send. And yeah, we got that back. That's correct. Let me refresh. And there it is. Okay, so now we are able to create and save items in our database. And we're able to retrieve them, as you can see. So we got the two features that we wanted working. So let me make this a little bit smaller. We have our post request working here. So we're able to save items to our database. And we're also able to read from the database. Read the entire school's database and send that back to whoever's requesting it. Let me just hit save, and there we go. We also have the servers up and running. It's connecting to the database. The database is up and running. All right, so we made some progress. I think I'm going to stop now. I'm going to take a break. I am not going to be able to stream the next couple of days because the next few days, 3 days, because I'm going to be going on a short camping trip with some of my friends. So I should be back on Monday. Yeah, I will be back on Monday, and I will stream on Monday. Oh, that was a lot. I mean, that was a lot of, I really don't even think this is the right way to do it. I'm going to see if I can find a tutorial. I think I bought another course that shows you how to use like Node, MongoDB, and all this stuff. I'm going to go through it and see if what I did right, what I did wrong, what I should do a little bit differently. But I mean, we're making some progress. This stuff, I could actually connect this to the front end right now. I could create a service in Angular, and that hits these API endpoints. But I'm gonna leave it like this for now because I actually want to go through this again and just make sure that this is right. Because I don't know if I should be error handling like this, or what I need to return to be able to. I'm not an expert at Express either, or Mongo. So I think that's why I'm having some of these issues. But I'm gonna stop here for now. So for anyone that scrolled to the very end, we now have our database actually saving items when we hit the correct API endpoints when we make the request with the correct to the correct API endpoint. We can create items and we can read items. So we could create new schools in our database, and we could read all of the schools in our database. I didn't create any functionality to filter out schools or just search for specific schools in the database. That's for way later. But for now, we have two things that we were hoping to accomplish by the end of today, and I'm a little satisfied because I'm a little bit satisfied, but I wish I had done a little bit more. But I'm satisfied that I got this far because I'm kind of tired. So I'm gonna stop here. Let's stop the timer. The count up timer. Let us stop at 19 hours, 43 minutes, and 35 seconds. So we're almost a third of the way through this challenge, through this bet, and we have about half the month to go. So when I get back from my trip, I'm gonna have to put in some serious hours, but it should be fun. And thank you for watching. Thank you for those that came into chat and said hi. I will catch you all. Let me switch over back to my Mars look. I will catch you all the next time. I hope you enjoy the view of Mars that I have here. It looks pretty cool. I will see you next time. Thanks.